now, and also hopefully lots of times after this. But it was beautiful, and just I'm sort of blown away by everything that I now have to absorb. So that was incredibly smooth and really beautiful. It's really exciting to see some of the stuff that I've seen clips of in the last few weeks come together into a kind of narrative flow. So really exciting.
Yay. It feels like obviously just the beginnings of things, and as soon as we started to put it together, we were really sort of like today suddenly going, oh, we could really do with some sound. You know, that's obviously the next thing. It really needs like a soundscape on it that would support it throughout. I think there's that hard thing that once you start working certain things, other things really flag up that you need to put in. But because we're just at the beginnings, it was that's the big thing that sort of shouted out to me. But I'd be really interested to hear from people just what they got from what they saw and what was interesting and what didn't quite work for them and stuff. I can see Julie Mack and Jess. Do you want to say start? What you thought?
Can I start? Hello.
Oh, hi, Fiona.
Hello.
I can't see you. Oh, hiya.
Hello. Yeah. I just wanted to ask a question. How did it all work? Because it looked like you were all in different rooms, and then you all came together, like breaking the frame. How did that actually work? It's like magic. Was it magic?
Paul, I think that's a Paul answer, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah. It is a bit of magic. Magic being a very technical thing. So yes, I mean we're really using some different bits of software, streaming software, compositing techniques. So all the performers are on green screens. Including Caroline, who's adding drawings, but the three performers all have green screens in their homes. And as a project, we supplied all those green screens out to all the performers, and webcams and lights. They've got video lights up. They've got a huge setup they have to do for every session. Actually, there's a lot that goes on. But we then bring all those images together, and we just layer them. We composite them, and the best analogy or metaphor for this is rather like the sort of the old Victorian paper puppet theatre, which has lots of layers, like your wings and your backgrounds and your props and the foreground objects and your actors, who are located in all the different normal stage positions. And that's very much the appropriate metaphor to describe technically how it works. But all those paper layers are in fact video layers, and so we've all worked on different aspects, animated and recorded elements that Nina's been working on, and bringing those in, and then live drawings, doing tricks that it is magic. So making a Cassie come out of a hole is a complete magic trick, because we have to put a bit of the background behind her and the same bit in front of her, and cut it in the middle and put a hole in front, and she comes out of a green screen circle. But a lot of it is green screening technology, and it's really fun to play with, and it makes your imagination just go in all different directions, what you can do with it.
Yeah, totally. And for that one where we broke the things, we just all took pictures of we went on our Zooms or cameras or whatever, and just sort of stepped out of the way, and then took a picture and then sent it to Paul to make it look like we were in a Zoom, but then without the boundaries of the actual border.
So yes, it's completely simulated Zoom.
Yeah,
that was a sort of we were in Zoom in Teams. That was a ironic situation to be in. There we are. But they have worked incredibly hard. I must say, we've worked with 10 different companies on this project since November 2020, and I have to say that Improbable have been a fantastic group to work with. So committed to it. Huge thanks to Henry T, who's up in the morning at 7 o'clock in the morning, running between people's homes in South London, running across South London, setting up green screens and lights, and then running off somewhere else and setting another one up, and back to somebody else, and then somebody's camera's not quite working, and then back on the bus, back down the road. I think from Greenwich to Lewisham to wherever else, I think they've been they have been running all over the place. So thank you, huge thanks to Henry. Fantastic work.
Yeah, Henry, you've been amazing.
And Henry's off again. She's back to you, Ange, now. She's just lights down from me.
Nice, yeah.
For my
That's
meeting
definitely
tonight, yeah.
one thing that's handy, I think, for the project is having that sort of tech manager, tech stage person that can move around the locations. We definitely found that to be very useful, because it was good to be able to set my own stuff up by the end, the last sort of few sessions. But in the first few, the troubleshooting was very Improdigy reminiscent, where it was just like, why isn't this working? What is going on? But by the end of it, it's all good. It was smooth.
And it does take a huge amount of work. Yeah.
Yeah, Jess,
Go ahead.
I really loved it. I liked particularly the kind of mixture of storytelling between like Cassie being the storyteller, but then the sort of old-fashioned picture sliding in black and white, I thought was beautiful. So in the corridor and how it was changing around her. And I also really like seeing kind of Caroline had her hands in it as well. So it was kind of like we're seeing the artist shaping the story at the same time the actors shaping the story. That was absolutely brilliant, especially the crow at the end was like my favourite moment. The only thing for me that was a problem was like the sound. I wasn't getting it all the time, but I don't know if that was just my computer or whether that was a thing. Like I think with the voiceovers I can hear it. Sometimes with individual people there was a bit of, I don't know, something with the sound, but the actual project is amazing. Well done everyone, loved it.
Thank you. We might need to think about microphones and also when we're thinking about soundscapes and stuff, but it's really helpful to hear that there was a bit of discrepancy with sound, because that's our first time putting it out to find out what you receive and stuff. Julie Mack, did you have a question? Comment?
Oh, I just wanted to give some feedback. I thought it was just so exciting. I got so emotional when I felt like the three of you were around the fire. And of course, I've been doing a lot of international work. So the thought of having a little bubble with some of our artists over in Australia who could literally gather around the fire, playing with this kind of technique, I just think it's really thrilling. It's lovely stuff. I think my favorite bits are when you were playing with the hole in the center of that corridor, and then the walls change, and then the floor changes, and then Cassie disappeared down the hole and then gets folded away carefully into the story. I just loved it. I'm thrilled. Well done. Brilliant.
Nice.
More, please, more.
It is a lot of work involved as well. I think everyone would imagine.
But I haven't done this layering that you've done, which is thrilling to see. I know how hard it is just to get the lighting right. If you've got 4 actors with different gadgets and 4 different shades of green, it's like 40 bloody shades of green in ours anyway. But yeah, you've done brilliantly.
Yeah, I was just going to add to that actually, say the turning of the pages of the book was really fun. So it was like, just turning and then popping up in like the portraits.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I've loved having the sort of really lo-fi things being made, but also with the hi-fi. So being able to have a crow coming on and flying off, and to be able to have wings, and that to have that animation that sort of looks hand-drawn, and which is hand-drawn, but also is sort of high-tech and low-tech all in the one thing. There's something I think makes it feel more in the theatre world than in the film world or the animation world. There's something that helps it keep sort of really, I mean, I think there's still more to be found, but I think there is something of that helps us think about theatre and what we're trying to create. That's someone going.
Yeah, Henry's coming to you, Ange.
Henry is on their way over to you now.
Oh, See you in a
The more
moment.
Actually, that's a really interesting point, and I think it really is about a new kind of language, something between theatre, film. What kind of language is this new kind of language that we're creating here in this? And certainly the theatre is the huge element of it, and you've really explored that brilliantly, I think.
Yeah.
Tom, I think there's somebody waiting to come back in. Fiona said she got kicked out of Teams, so I don't know if there's a way of letting back in.
It's going to be really cool when Henry arrives at yours, because they will actually have walked into your frame.
Literally.
Yeah. The long way around.
Yeah.
When we were doing our first lot of workshops, Ade lived around the corner from me, and we were going to do this thing where Ade was just going to be behind the green screen, so I was going to reveal them to being there, which I think would be really hilarious. Or at some point putting the green screen out in the road and then having a car literally going past would be really fantastic as well. Sort of, yeah, I think there's lots of games to be found with it, which I think would be amazing.
Yeah, I think for me, what I found with all the stuff we've done since like the beginning of Outside the Frame till now, is that like it feels like to get the most out of the tech, you sort of like have to use the tech as a glue, not like centralize the tech. Like it's like, how does the tech help to like make the story more, which might lean less into tech or more into tech, but not trying to like force the tech into the story, because that's where it's helped. Is like sometimes we're just like, oh, so much tech, then we have to like step back and be like, okay, what are we doing?
Actually, there was so much time spent playing with the possibilities that, I mean, in terms of improvisation, it's another entire thing to improvise with. It's like you guys were spending so much time with the physicality of it, and at one point I wasn't even sure whether I'd heard any improvisation because we were spending so much time with the tech, but all of that was improvisation as well, which was sort of amazing.
I think that's we haven't had much time actually trying out what we were going to say and all of that. So as a result, I think we were all a little bit tentative and stuff. But I think that's also, the more we do it, the more I'm sure we would get to try stuff out. And Kristin, sorry, I saw your hand was up, and I only just realised at the bottom there were people's names. Did you want to speak, or have you gone, Kristin?
No, I'm still here.
Hiya.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was really exciting. Actually, my daughter's at home with me, and about 3 minutes in, I was like, I think I should call her. She's 8. I was like, come and look. So that's like really nice, isn't it? Because it's really, I think for her, she's 8, right? So it's like some of her generation. It's like just it's an exciting form for children as well, you know, because of there's been all this screen stuff and they're obsessed with screens. But I think when it's a different thing, a different kind of use of it, that's just really exciting. And I really liked the real objects. Yeah, I mean, I loved I could sort of feel the texture of the paper and the pages, and I kind of recognized that sort of 70s style encyclopedia thing, you know. So there's like, it does start to reach the different senses, and so I really enjoyed that. And I just loved the mixture of that with the live actors and the drawing and then the sort of cardboard, you know, all of there's so many different media bits. I've got my daughter looking over the top of the screen at me now.
Hello.
Hi, welcome.
Yeah, anyway, it's really lovely.
Thank you.
That's so nice to hear that people were experiencing the sort of things that we were also trying to like draw out. Like as we were playing, we're sort of getting those same like, oh, it's the textural things. I'm like, oh, it feels really nice. Like, and I think that's what we've been discovering with the online stuff. It's just like there's a thing of wanting to tap into like through the screen, we're still experiencing lots of the same senses, and that's what the texture gives you, I think.
Julie Mack, were you going to say something?
It was a question for Paul, really, because I think perhaps you were the director's eye, were you? Kind of holding the eye for us all before we joined in.
A little, yes. Perhaps.
I wondered, have you worked with like a cyclorama?
No, in explain to me how would you like a kind of a.
I was trying to imagine what it'd
visual...
be like kind of filming 360. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Okay.
I wondered what it would be like if we could surround screen people. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, we would definitely
pop in and out of each other's worlds, but it would be a much wider world sort of thing.
What was that?
That's my fantasy, anyway.
I was just going to say we were definitely running up against space issues all the time. In terms of getting off the screen, the only thing I would say is that this the big test of this is whether people could do it in their own homes without having to hire a studio and all that sort of thing. But yeah, I think, I mean, there are much bigger technologies as well that allow for that, and bigger it happens a lot with, you know, XR and stuff. So what's quite nice about this is it's a bit more sort of domestic, but yeah, I think it's really exciting though. Like if this were to go to the next stage, then that could be one of those things.
You mean when it goes?
Yes. Because I think that maybe what comes out of this is that we realise that we might there's the resources and spaces we might normally use in theatres might need some new kinds of use of technology, of this kind of green screen, or what is opportunity to have performances that happen in multiple theatres at once, and we can share in those kinds of new formats and that sort of thing. I'm sure Nina might have some thoughts on those things going forward, and what comes out of the sort of pandemic experience for theatre online, and where that goes in the future, and what sort of hybrid forms there might be. So I just want to, I can see a few people coming in the days back.
Yeah. I mean, I think what's quite fun is that I've over the last couple of years I've been across all sorts of levels of this kind of experimentation, and this probably feels like one of the most theatrical. The XR zone where you have big LED and then they can extend your environment beyond it. It feels like it's very, very expensive. It feels like it's the reserve of sort of TV studios, music videos and film and stuff. So it's quite nice to see it happening in a clever rather than super expensive way.
Yeah.
Hello, Regina. I see you joining us from Brazil.
Wow.
Hiya. Were you able to watch it? Oh, you've got your microphone on.
Oh.
We can't hear you. Could you try turning your microphone up on your computer, maybe? We can't hear you, I'm afraid.
If you click the 3 dots on the bar at the bottom, you might have an option from settings to check where your microphone is. I don't know if you can hear me. There's a grey bar at the bottom of your Microsoft Teams that has like the recording button, the camera, the mic, and 3 dots as well. So if you click on those 3 dots, yeah, exactly.
Oh, is it just the unmute button? She's muted.
Her mute thing is not on, because you can see with Nina's that when it's on, it's got a little symbol next to it. But with, yeah.
On my screen it is on, but
damn it, it's so sad.
See, that's what I did while you were saying about the 3 things. I've given myself some balloons in the room.
There you go.
I will have to this week. You have to send us a voice note. You have to send us a voice note.
Is there a chat here that you could put something in chat? I don't even know if there is a chat.
There is a chat. I don't know whether you're getting it. Yeah, there should be.
I don't know where chat is.
I don't have the option. It says only available to team members.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, Regina, maybe you could send a message to us on WhatsApp afterwards and we could hear what you think or any questions. But we love that you've joined us from Brazil today. Thank you so much. We're international.
So I just wanted to quickly say to Angela that to the team and just that we that sort of conclude where we do have one more session in next week, I think, on Teams, which is just with the team, perhaps just for an hour, just to ask, I have some questions for you for our research project, but you know the equipment is now that we have provided you with, that's for yours to keep and use again, and we do hope that you can make good use of it, and this sort of all these experiences and knowledge that you've gained. I do hope that it can be something that you can further explore in the future and share, and it'll all be available on our website as well, so everything that you do will be kind of accessible as a kind of PDF how-to guide, you know, tips on setting it up and those sorts of things. So
absolutely, and I think we're all going to meet next week, aren't we, to chat this through. I'd like to say also we really loved your book. Your book was a star. Once we discovered the book,
so good,
lots of things came into place, and we went, we could do that and try that, and so that was joyful. I think that's going to be an essential player within our piece.
Yeah. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having the opportunity to work with you and to work with Nina and Caroline, providing all that fantastic visuals, those wonderful crows that fly off the page and land again, and those wonderful pieces and those drawings. That sort of sense of that tactileness is something we have not explored before, and it's been an absolute delight working with you to make all that happen. So thank you for making that a reality for us.
Thanks so much. Brilliant. Is there anybody who's got a final question? Otherwise, I think maybe we could let everyone go and say thank you, and we could just stay on to say a quick goodbye before we go.
You're off, Jenny.
Thanks so much for coming. We love that you came.
And
any thoughts that you have, email.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Tuning in from Portugal.
Thank you so much.
We had a Portugal person as well. Brazil and Portugal, nice.
Amazing, well done. That was phenomenal. Well done, guys.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done for you really kept it going, and I don't know how you do improvisation.
Thanks for coming, Iwan.
Oh.
Tuning in from the beach.
Really? Oh, beautiful. Wonderful. Excellent. We're all here. I think so. I think yeah, that's right. I think Catherine's here as well. Fantastic.
Awesome.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. I think we all deserve a bit of a break, a rest, a drink, whatever your tipple, be it herbal, be it alcoholic, whatever it be.
The fact that we did it and managed to get through it is amazing.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be fine. I said it.
It was great.
The other day.
I'd say it was a bit hairy though with Rick. For me, one thing that I've kind of has really kind of stood out is that with the artwork, because it's quite detailed.
Yeah.
Those three sessions.
Yeah.
With you is actually, I was like, whoa, my mind's being blown.
That was us every session.
The first session was kind of like, oh yeah, this is great. Oh, wow, amazing. The second session was a bit like, oh my fucking God, there's so much to do. And then this last session has been great because it's like, because I finally understood, what you wanted, not the technical process, because that I think is the layering is quite sort of, clear. But once, getting those technical kind of, because you're moving things with your hands in and out, it really, I kind of thought, well, wow, yeah, 3 days is quite short.
Yeah, I think Caroline, had we known that we were going to do so much drawing and painting and making like that, we would have had you in the beginning. We didn't know we were going to use the book. We didn't know anything. We didn't know about the painting style until second or third session.
The one before, I think.
I
think it was a session before. I think it was a session before Caroline's first session where we were like, okay, we think we want to do this.
Well, I've got to say thank you so much for inviting me into it, because it has been really amazing. I mean, just look at it, is amazing. It's incredible, that marriage of everything, you know, technology and kind of, you know, and manual work and also performance, and you know, and then you say like also the next layer will be sound. It's been amazing. Yeah.
It's
So I
been
think just as a quick takeaway, sorry.
No, you go, Paul. Sorry, I'm looking.
Okay, no, I was just going to say, just as a quick takeaway, I think what really worked for you is that you actually dealt with the medium as well. You know, this was about what life is like, what life has been like, not only on, you know, in Zoom, and in online, but it's also about all those things that people have been through, and everyone's been through over the last 24 months. But keeping it focused about the medium. I'm a big believer in the medium is the message in many ways, but I think it really is something about this Teams experience, this Zoom experience that you break through, that really gets to people. They think, yeah, this is weird actually. This whole Zoom experience, and why can't we be together? Why can't we coexist? There's a really fundamental question, and really good that you worked with that.
It's incredible, really incredible. I remember when I first, you know, that first session, and I was just like, oh my God. Oh my God.
Mind blowing. I was just yeah. Also, like, it just wouldn't have been possible if every single person involved wasn't so open, like, because we were literally like changing lanes at all times as new information is coming in. It's just like this constantly, and so like everyone had to be along for the ride, or it wouldn't have come together. And we could, like, it was literally such an amalgamation of everyone's ideas, and like being open to like possibilities of things that we haven't even done before, but still going for it and stuff like that. And so yeah, it's just so exciting to work with all of you. Like, yeah, that was really fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love the
sorry, go ahead. Sorry, Caroline.
I said I love the improvisation. It really made me laugh.
I didn't know what we were doing.
I know, when you said I'm going for a piss.
Wow, that threw me.
Funny.
Same.
I just feel like we had
things that you wanted to say. Just, it'd be great just to hear what you thought. The good and the bad, like what you thought were.
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I loved so much about it, you guys. I think you've done an absolutely amazing job. I really loved seeing, you know, the bits where you could see how the story was connecting. So when you first reached through the frame, it was really effective seeing the Zoom bit get broken down. I think we could spend longer on those moments when it like as you know, as it develops, because they're so magic. It's a bit like watching. I think it'll be a bit like watching puppetry. Like, you can watch something small for quite a long time because it just looks so magic. It has that sort of similar effect. So I think there's something about kind of like rhythm and pace to play it around with when we start kind of going into the next phase of it. But I think the way that those links happened between the bits that you had worked on looked really great and were really exciting. I loved the bit around the campfire when you were telling that story, and it was beautiful. And then
I was
seeing
joking. Could you tell? I needed some water.
No, it was. But it was. I mean, yes, I could hear you coughing, obviously, but it was. You know, it was. It had that beautiful kind of around a campfire, real storytelling kind of quality, and to start there and then get into sets that you can see moving around each other and like heading into bits of the story that like feel like they then get exploded in a little way, like into a locket or, you know, into something else, was really great. The crow was gorgeous, the way it flew around. I would love to see more of that sort of stuff. Like, can it land on someone's shoulder? Can it?
Yeah.
I think the crow stuff is amazing, really beautiful. That
because Caroline and I had quite a lot of fun combining with that, because it was Caroline's cutout which I think brought the design together nicely, and then I was just sort of scrubbed away a few frames of it. So
it was great, and it looked beautiful, and it was really fun moving between those different worlds, and you know, the characters starting to come out, and it was just, I mean, honestly, it was so good. I've written a ton of notes just to remind myself because there's so much to absorb. But I will think about it and try and be a bit more coherent by next
week. Fine.
We will share all the recordings with you, of course. So we're going to have all it'll all be recorded at full resolution with all the audio. So you'll have a good recording of it all.
I also did a screen recording with my daughter sitting watching it because she came home from school just as it happened, and I sort of couldn't get rid of her. And at first she was like, "Oh, I'm not going to stay and watch." And then she was watching it, and she's like, "Can I watch the whole thing?" There are a few comments in there and the bits that she found funny and stuff, so I can send you the sound of her watching it if it's helpful.
Great.
Really interesting.
Great.
Yeah, superb.
Yeah, that would be great. And I think, you know, it'd be really exciting to start filling out a kind of, you know, at the moment we've kept this as basically as small as possible and then brought people in like Caroline as we discovered stuff rather than starting with a kind of bigger team. So I feel like now we've learned more about it, it will be about kind of going, who else do we need in this space for the next bit? Like, you know, sound. Do we need lighting? I don't know. The lighting seemed fine to me, but like maybe there's a whole world of stuff to play with there. I don't know. Nina, it would be great to chat to you about like, well, it'd be great to chat to all of you, but it'd be great to chat about like.
I think for me, sound
what the
feels
possibilities are with there, like,
definitely feels like the next layer. But my big question is how much has to be planned? Just because we were improvising a lot of what we were saying, because that's not what we sort of focused on the outlines of it rather than what we were actually going to be saying. And we would really like the possibility of still being able to improvise at times, but maybe in certain sections, but we'd have to understand what effect that has on the technology and what would be preset and what could be freeform and at the press of a button, for example. So I'm just thinking if there were things like, I mean, I don't even know if we're going to stick with the crow and all of that. Who knows what we're going to do? You know,
we've got Bird Woman. We've got lots of material. We've got the yam. We've got the yam.
Yeah, the yam. I want to see the yam.
Bring on the yam.
Bring on the yam. Yam.
For instance, if like I'm thinking about like if in the live show, you might know that when it gets to a certain point, then a certain lighting effect could happen. But in something like this, could it be when it gets to a certain point, then the button for the crow could be pressed, but that could be something that could be repeated a few times during a showing and wouldn't all have to be preset, but would be set off by something.
So how much could the tech be improvised as well?
Yeah, that's what I'm sort of wanting to know.
It would be nice. It feels like there's a lot of play there with like Nina and Caroline and stuff, and being able to even just put cue words into improv. So that if we say a particular phrase, then like something happens every time, and like that kind of thing. Like,
or
that
you start doing something and we follow.
Exactly. Like a
Caroline as as one of the actors was interesting, and like could it switch so that you're following her lead and stuff?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, will there be time for like a kind of because I know next Friday we've got what, an hour I think or something?
Yes.
Can we, do you think there'll be time in that for us to do a bit of a kind of debrief all together as well?
Yeah, that's what I really hope you can do. Yeah, it'd be really good. Okay. So a lot of things you're talking about now, I hope you can pick up on and try and just go through it. Be really, and I'd really love it if you just to let that to do that debrief and let that just happen, you know.
That'd be great.
Really. Great. Could you remind me what time it is next week?
Of course. Let me just open it up. I've got it here somewhere. I can tell you straight away on here. We plan to do it.
Yes, please, Caroline, if you can. Yes, please. I don't know.
It's going to be 10:30.
10:30. Our usual time.
On Friday 13th. So.
I'm looking for us.
Yeah.
Random thing, whoever's on Microsoft Teams on their laptop, if you click on the 3 dots and then click together mode, what happens for you?
Oh, it's really funny. You do go together,
Yeah,
I haven't got together.
I think you have to be on like Pro or something, or do you?
Yeah.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah, because I've just pressed the 3 dots. That's how comes I got my lovely balloons behind me. but I haven't got
Together mode. Okay, it says preview, so it might be a new thing.
Yeah, so we did it when we were doing a teaching at Rose Bruford, and what it does is it puts you all in a sort of lecture theatre together, and it gives you something to sit behind, so that you're all, it just lines you up and pre-keys you into a, like Angela's got a background, we'd all have potentially the same background.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
What it does. Yeah, it was developed by apparently Jaron Lanier and Jeremy Bailinson got together and developed it for Microsoft, and he was one of the early virtual reality kind of gurus of California. Allegedly. I mean, I don't think it's a bit of a weird thing, because you're never actually together. You're in a lecture theatre. Well, you're not really in a lecture theatre, but you're kind of just feels a bit weird. Yeah, it feels a bit strange.
It's so exciting.
Everyone, I've got to go, but well done.
Yes.
Okay.
Congrats. I'm looking forward to chewing it over with you next week.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Brilliant.
Fantastic.
Well done.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, everyone.
And it'd be great to get the film so that we could get some stills from it.
Absolutely. I'll make sure you get that.
And then, Paul, are you going to do a clip, so like with the others that you've done, which is sort of like a 4-minute thing?
Yes, I would do it. And if you'd like to have any input into that, you're more than welcome to, or you can leave that to our team, and we can just run it past you and see if you're happy with it. Just a short sort of trailer edit, if really, but down to about 4 minutes we put on, so we can put that out on our website. It's just a bit easier to digest and bite stuff that audiences can pick up.
What was the time, by the way?
Sorry.
Dave, you saying?
What did the count come to in terms of time? How long did it end up lasting?
Yeah, how long was it?
I've got to check myself. I don't know yet. I've got to look. I've got to go back in. I switch off the computer because it's so noisy, so you can't hear it when I'm in this meeting.
I think it was about 20 minutes, but almost precisely.
Fantastic. That's brilliant. Then.
Oh wow.
Spot on. Spot on. Improv. 20 minutes. No more, no less.
If you could make a stab at doing 4 minutes, but then let us have a look.
Of course.
Would be great, because there might be something that we definitely want in that you don't think of, or the other way round.
Absolutely.
So it would be great to have a look at your stab at it, if that's
yeah. Of course. Let me do that. Absolutely.
Brilliant. Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much.
Everyone.
I love your technique and style of doing this. It's something I've never really experienced before, and I've learned a lot from it. So thank you all so very much.
Has it been quite different to the others, Paul?
It has. Some were quite sort of scripted from the very start. They sort of knew what they want. They just did what they wanted to do. Others wanted to just explore techniques and were quite led by the sorts of opportunities. But you've really driven this and pushed it in all sorts of new directions. And I think you've really kept it to that subject, the richness. It's the subject and the narrative that has come out of this, that's emerged from it, that is so powerful for me. So that's really good. Really enjoyed it.
We've had a total ball. Thank you, everyone.
It's so fun.
Thank you, Tom, down there. Tom on down on the seafront.
Thank you so much, and the whole team at Telepresence. Really fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, what did you think, Tom?
It was a brilliant performance. There's so much going on. It was really amazing to watch. Well done. Fantastic.
Awesome.
Great. Brilliant. Oh yeah, that was another one final thought I had just for today before I forget, is that it's very cool that you mentioned that none of us that we hadn't met during the process. And and I just want to say I really hope that we do meet, and we met, and we didn't. So,
we should absolutely. I'm now.
Let's go to the seaside.
Yes.
Come down to Brighton.
Definitely come down to Brighton. That'd be brilliant.
Okay,
that's here already.
Let's make a pact then that we come to the seaside soon.
Yes.
Festival starts tomorrow, guys. Festival starts tomorrow.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
I think we should make it happen, and not too far away, because we'll lose it. But I'll mention it. I know Catherine's away. I don't know when she's back, but
we'll be in the parade.
Oh, nice! Woo!
Nice! Wow!
Brilliant. Maybe we'll send an email to see when people are free. We'll try and get a thing going. It would be fantastic to have some time by the sea and maybe have a pint together.
Yeah, do it. And
Lovely.
a rock raisin ice cream.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I'm old school.
All right,
Amazing.
Good
everyone.
time.
Promise
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone. Well
Cheers.
So
Bye.
thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Yeah.
done.
Thanks everyone. Bye.
Bye. Well done. Bye.
Well done.
Well done. Well done. Amazing.
Do you want to stop recording this, Tom? Fantastic.
Lots of